My Tinder experience had been a mixed bag until I matched with Mark. He stood out from the crowd, charming, witty, and incredibly good-looking. Our conversations flowed effortlessly, and it didn't take long for me to be completely smitten. After weeks of texting, we decided it was time to meet in person. Mark suggested a cozy, dimly lit restaurant, and I eagerly agreed. As he walked in, I was taken aback by his charisma and good looks. We shared stories, laughed, and found common interests, making it a memorable first date. It was the start of something that seemed promising. As the weeks turned into months, I began to notice subtle red flags. Mark would frequently cancel our plans at the last minute, blaming it on work commitments or sudden emergencies. His phone was always on silent mode, and he'd often disappear for hours without a trace, only to resurface with vague explanations. My suspicions grew, and I couldn't help but feel like there was more to Mark than met the eye. He was reluctant to introduce me to his friends or share personal details about his life. Something felt off, and my gut told me to dig deeper. One night, curiosity got the better of me. Mark had left his phone unattended, and I decided to take a peek. What I discovered sent shockwaves through my entire being. Mark had been seeing multiple women simultaneously, crafting carefully tailored personas for each of us. The romantic dates, the whispered sweet nothings. It was all an elaborate charade. Confronting him was heart-wrenching. He feigned remorse, but refused to take full responsibility for his actions. I ended the relationship, devastated by the betrayal, and haunted by the realization that I had fallen for the deception of a master manipulator. This Tinder horror story served as a stark reminder of the importance of trust and vigilance in the world of online dating. It was a painful lesson, but one that made me more cautious about falling for someone's charm without fully knowing their true intentions. In the aftermath of this ordeal, I decided to share my experience with a support group for survivors of manipulation and emotional abuse. It was there that I learned about the importance of recognizing the signs of manipulation, setting boundaries, and seeking help when needed. I also discovered that I wasn't alone. Many others had fallen victim to similar tactics. This experience served as a catalyst for my own personal growth and a commitment to prioritizing my emotional well-being in future relationships. As I moved forward, I couldn't help but wonder about Mark and the trail of emotional wreckage he had left behind. It was a sobering reminder that manipulators can be adept at concealing their true intentions, and that healing and recovery are possible for survivors. I matched with a guy named Alex on Tinder, and he seemed like a charismatic and outgoing person. Our first date went well, and we continued to see each other over the course of several weeks. Everything appeared to be normal until one day I received a chilling message from a stranger. The message revealed that Alex had a dark history of predatory behavior, including harassment, stalking, and even criminal charges. Shocked and horrified, I confronted him about the accusations. He became defensive, denying all allegations and insisting that he was falsely accused. I decided to conduct my own research, and what I uncovered was deeply unsettling. Multiple women had come forward with stories of their terrifying encounters with Alex. He had a pattern of manipulating and intimidating his victims, leaving them traumatized and afraid. I promptly ended my association with Alex, but the experience left me deeply disturbed. It was a stark reminder of the dangers that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly charming individuals on dating apps. I vowed to be more cautious in the future and to trust my instincts when something doesn't feel right. As time went on, I couldn't help but feel a lingering sense of unease, knowing that Alex might still be out there, lurking in the shadows, ready to prey on unsuspecting victims. My own story served as a motivation to advocate for better safety measures on dating apps, and to raise awareness about the risks associated with online dating. I began volunteering with organizations dedicated to supporting survivors of online dating violence and harassment. Together, we worked to educate others about the signs of predatory behavior and the importance of reporting such individuals to the appropriate authorities. It was a way for me to turn a traumatic experience into an opportunity to help others and prevent them from falling victim to the same dangers. One evening, I matched with a woman named Lisa on Tinder. She was attractive, and our conversations were engaging. We decided to meet for a drink at a local bar, and everything seemed to be going well. However, as the night progressed, Lisa began to act strangely. she became increasingly fixated on discussing her desire to be in a committed relationship and have a family. While this was a reasonable topic for conversation, the intensity and urgency of her comments were unsettling. She seemed to be searching for a life partner rather than getting to know me as an individual. As the night wore on, Lisa's behavior grew even more erratic. She started making cryptic comments about how I could be the one and how our futures were intertwined. I began to feel trapped and uncomfortable. Eventually, I made an excuse to leave the bar, but Lisa insisted on walking me to my car. As we reached the parking lot, she grabbed my arm tightly and whispered, "You're not going anywhere." The fear that gripped me in that moment was overwhelming. With all the strength I could muster, I broke free from her grasp, jumped into my car, and sped away. I immediately blocked Lisa on Tinder and reported the incident to the authorities. It was a harrowing experience that left me traumatized, realizing that the online world can conceal individuals with sinister intentions. These Tinder horror stories serve as a stark reminder of the potential dangers and dark side of online dating. While many people use dating apps to find genuine connections, it's essential to remain vigilant and prioritize personal safety when navigating the unpredictable world of online dating. As time passed, I became an advocate for personal safety awareness, sharing my story with others and encouraging them to trust their instincts and take precautions when using dating apps. A few years ago, I decided to give online dating a shot, and Tinder seemed like a promising platform to meet new people. After a few pleasant but unremarkable dates, I matched with someone who appeared to be different. His name was David, and his profile showed a handsome man with a charming smile. Our conversations quickly evolved from casual greetings to deep discussions about our interests, dreams, and life experiences. David was articulate, and I found myself drawn to his wit and intellect. We decided to meet at a cozy coffee shop for our first date. As I walked into the cafe, my heart raced with excitement. Our connection felt electric, and the conversation flowed effortlessly. Hours passed like minutes, and it was clear that we had something special. We saw each other regularly after that, and I introduced David to my friends, who instantly liked him. Everything seemed perfect until one evening when he invited me to a weekend getaway at a remote cabin in the woods. At first, I was hesitant. It was a significant step in our relationship, and I wanted to be sure. David assured me that it would be a magical experience, a chance to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. Reluctantly, I agreed, swayed by his charisma. The weekend arrived, and we set off on the long drive to the secluded cabin. As we ventured deeper into the wilderness, my unease grew. The cabin was isolated, far from any other signs of civilization. It felt eerie, and my instincts told me that something was amiss. The first night passed without incident, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. On the second day, David suggested we go for a hike. As we trekked through the dense forest, he suddenly stopped and turned to me with an unsettling grin. "Let's play a game," he said, his voice cold and distant. "I'll hide, and you have to find me. If you do, I'll tell you a secret." The situation felt odd, but I reluctantly agreed. I counted to 100 while David disappeared into the woods. When I started searching for him, I quickly realized that something was terribly wrong. Hours passed, and there was no sign of him. Panic set in, and I began to fear for my safety. With no other choice, I decided to leave the cabin and seek help. As I emerged from the woods and made my way back to civilization, I contacted the authorities and reported David missing. They launched a search, but no trace of him was ever found. To this day, the mystery of David's disappearance haunts me. What had he intended with that sinister game in the woods? Was he ever real, or had I fallen victim to a master manipulator? The experience left me with a profound sense of caution about online dating, and a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkest dangers can lurk behind the most enticing profiles.